Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm just going to be doing a bunch of this is a bunch of analysis I did for an upcoming reel that I'm doing. This one actually went really in depth, but it's about SEC congressional hearings and video game censorship. This is going to be a longer form video, but I'm going to just be consolidating all of this into a document and just kind of constructing everything into a script. It's going to take a little while for all of this, but I did a lot of research, probably about like 4 or 5 hours today worth of stuff. Yeah, so we're just gonna copy and paste all this stuff right here and then go from there. You'll see how many words it's total. We're on our Discord, by the way. Hope everyone's doing well. All right. 11 pages worth of research for this video. So if you're just joining, again, it looks like most of the audience is on extra normal. This is analysis that I did all day today, which was just kind of a bunch of congressional hearings and how they basically, well, this particular bill is gonna combine a lot of stuff, but mainly congressional hearings and how they impacted the trajectory of stock prices, game developers, or excuse me, gaming companies, how it impacted developers and stuff like that. I think that's kind of a niche that really hasn't been explored. Mainly, you just hear about how these controversies came to be and they really impacted the ratings board, but there's inner workings to a lot of these markets that I think is sort of an untapped field there. So I spent a lot of time today doing some deep research, and this is all of my these are all my findings here. So we're going to consolidate this into a script format. I don't know if it's going to end up becoming just like a short form reel, or if I'll end up doing a long form video. We'll see. But yeah, this is everything that we have right now. We're going to get to it. Here. Um, all right, let's do it. All right, so all right, censorship in video games, re-releases. U.S. case studies and their impact on reception and legacy. So again, that's going to be the central core thesis of this. Uh, Primarily, what we're going to be doing is deconstructing the impact that we've had on the greater landscape beyond just the consumer, how it impacted the sector of games as we know it today. This is actually going to branch off into three separate videos. So there's going to be that portion there, and then also the portion of like there's going to be like a re-release portion. So for example, Street Fighter 2 was re-released on the arcade one-up cabinet, and they took out some elements in that game that are still in the original game. Let me rephrase that. They took out elements that people might think may be controversial these days that are still retained in their original state through original hardware. So the example was that on E Honda stage, we can show you E Honda Street Fighter 2, you have the flag of the rising sun, the China flag. That flag of the rising sun that's in the background in the original stage, right? So I think you'll be able to see it here. This flag is in the original cartridge, but any re-releases such as this one, they removed it. And I thought that was so interesting because it goes to show that there's a lot of little details in re-releases, subtle things that people may not really expect to have been altered. They're altered, and I think that's uh, a compelling sort of thing to make a video about. So that'll be split from this larger document. We have some examples here, like when Fire Emblem was re-released in the 3DS, they took out a lot of like LGBTQIA plus elements in the Western world, removed it in the Japanese version, which again is just kind of a localization thing. But I thought that was interesting. I don't think there's a lot of videos on that sort of topic. Some of the things we're going to be discussing are congressional hearings, 1993 Senate hearings on Mortal Kombat Night Trap and the birth of the ESRB, specifically case studies like Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association. These things are extremely fascinating, so I think um, deep diving them and sort of giving them a bit of context of how they impacted the overall landscape of the market rather than just the consumer. I think that's really interesting. So we're going to do that. So this is the field of study that we have right now. I'm going to take off my jacket because it's really hot. So let's get to it now. Do some deep research.
also undergo censorship to comply with cultural requirements or policies. Reviewing fundamental legal frameworks for examines prominent examples of censorship, analyzing how changes legacy. In the early 1990s, entertainment modern localization revealed interplay, music expression, audience expectations, pillars of modern games and the ESRB. Animation. In the game with consoles, Sega and its divergent approaches. Sega released Grayfield, Blood Code, Bruce Wayne, and altered changes were driven by corporate attempts to avoid backlash from parents and lawmakers. They inadvertently highlighted the need for standardized regulation. The controversy culminated in 1993 U.S. Senate hearings, where lawmakers criticized the industry for failing to protect minors from wage content. In response, the industry established the ESRB, voluntary release designed to Mortal Kombat censored console versions as well. The original arcade edition unaltered created cultural touchstone. Legacy as a pioneer of the fighting genre. ESRB's creation, however, censorship developers and retailers who became restrictions on sales. Practically reduced government intervention for digital industry norms. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas scandal. In 2002, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas (FAA) faced unprecedented after modders discovered unsafe sexual content in the game's code. Though inaccessible in the retail version, sexual acts between characters. The game and our games responded to re-entering the game with the content and rating. Handle damage the franchise temporarily. Underscore the need of self-regulation and development content leading to accusations of politicians like Hillary Clinton advocate for user oversight, though legislative efforts failed amid First Amendment. In the long term, handle reinforced ESRB authority and publishers disclosed content. Say, however, variety titles digital platforms, restoring censored code curiosity, fire innovation and cultural hunting. American altered dialogue with traditional Japanese script, relationships, pulling down suggestions, and replacing cooperative conversations. For example, a romantic conversation, male characters, written to the 60s, right? Involving a face-touching sequence. These changes were immediate backlash from fans, including cultural values on narrative. Critics consideration undermines the game's emotional depth, LGBTQ plus representation, segment of the player base, caught in the release. Stating, I didn't want to give Nintendo a bit of money to take them to their self-censored game. Conversely, changes asserting the experience preserving artistic intent and adapting content for creativity. Despite its controversy, Series will fame 2 million copies worldwide, testing that limited impact on commercial success. However, its legacy remains rich. While the game expanded the series to millennia, it is often cited in debate as civilization factors. Subsequent higher income titles, House adopted a more transparent approach to monetization, indicating that the backlash is a strategy. This is a partial copy of the content due to the length of the text. Full document displayed. However, I can see other follow-up message. Let me know how you like it. Cash Night Trap. Early battles for interactive money tools. The 1992 Sega CD Night Trap came with lightning rod censorship change, live action footage of actors in peril. The game passes players, preventing vampires from being computers, but it can be violent, realistic premise, and condemnation from filmmakers, including Senator J. As shame. Unlike Mortal Kombat, which was critically related violence, Night Trap uses film actors' latent realism, making it a target for moral praise. In response to pressure, Sega re-released an edited version of dialogue. Despite these changes, Night Trap became most of it and video games in the early 1990s. Its infamy, however, also created a cult following. 2017 Master Edition, Night Train 25th Anniversary Edition, restored the original concept and included documentary features reframing the game, artifacts, and game. The re-release received mixed reviews, but introducing the new generation, illustrating how censorship paradoxically supersedes legal into self-regulation. The U.S. marked a pivotal moment in video game censorship history. The case centered on a law that sought to ban the sale of violent games to minors. The court ruled in 7-2 that video games qualified for First Amendment protection.
There's some music in it? Music in this? It shouldn't be the case. Wow. Interesting. Let's see if we can find more context on that. So they didn't, and it was a California law, huh? I'm gonna mark a note of that.
The case of Brown versus naming, dismembering, sexually
Wow.
violating the United States previously violated permanent Court of Appeals, and the issue is being reached ruling that the law of evidence did not the court was unnecessary for assistance and was moved under a given that the entertainment radio system already limited as a result of
That's a very interesting thing. I think the fact that it was a California law, I think that makes it more compelling given the region that we live in. As a kid, I remember how strict it was to go into GameStop and really just get your parents to buy the games. What's interesting now though is that in the current marketplace, you can't really enforce that type of legality anymore because when most things are purchased online, how are they able to indicate that you're 18 plus
easily. I mean, I think that's fascinating. Let me write that note down actually. So, on a separate topic, we can discuss the intricacies of certain um, case studies, such as Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association, and how laws such as that can no longer be applied in the current landscape of gaming, given that most things are digital and there's really no middleman to selling a game to a customer anymore. It's strictly between now just the customer and the merchant. Does that make sense? That's a very interesting point, actually. We're gonna watch another video right now. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's insane. What's funny is I did a bunch of research on this one topic. I'm still debating whether or not I want to make a long form video because this is ripe for content, to be honest with you, or if I want to split this up. The main thing that I've noticed is that most of my videos do very well on YouTube and TikTok. They do better on that than Instagram. Primarily, though, I'm trying to build an Instagram audience. But the type of reels there tend to be ones that are not edited in a way that's um I guess like it's not they're not edited like YouTube style videos, meaning that they're not done in a way where they're meant to be sort of deeply insightful. They're quick to the point within the minutes that you have. And I try to condense a lot of info down sometimes into a few minutes, but it's real difficult, when you I don't know, I don't it's a weird algorithm, Instagram. So I'm debating. Like, I don't know if anyone would click on a video about Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association. I'd have to really think deeply about a way to make something like that compelling. Uh, we'll see. We'll see. Mainly right now, we're just doing research. I want to try making reels that are a little more educational in a sense. Because I really love the industry that I'm in, which is reselling. Um, and primarily the beauty of reselling old video games is that you get the game in a state where it's not altered with. You have the physical asset as it was sold and as it was intended to be consumed. And the thing with re-releases is that it's sort of like a 1984 version of doublespeak. They can change aspects of games on a fly. Um, and there's like historical context to that. So I don't know. Uh, that's why I'm still kind of debating it. I have this sheet that I wrote out, but even within that, there's different rabbit holes we can go down. So let's see. Let's watch this extra credits one. This is a really good. Huh. Actually, let's see here. One second. Um. Yeah, let's watch this extra credits one.
Well, it's probably video games. You know, sitting in here like this. It's big and this year, years back,
I didn't know that. Damn it. I didn't know that that was a thing. So obscene material is not okay. Well, the more you know. What is considered obscene, though? Let's see. Obscenity. Obscenity speech specifically. Offensive. That's not protected. Oh, CP is not. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right. Uh, 1 second. I want some water. All right, let's keep going. Have to write some of this stuff down. So most of the reels, I think I'm gonna post a lot of filler stuff, kind of just the ones that are quick and easy to make, while I work on the bigger ones that require more effort and stuff like that. Uh, I'm in it to play like I'm in it for the long run, to be honest with you. I don't want to follow trends, and I don't want to just kind of do what everyone else is doing. If I'm going to be doing content and posting things for the business, especially if I'd like to scale this eventually, I'd like to build a reputation that stands the test of time. You know, it doesn't really. One of the things I noticed with a lot of the reselling pages, and it's not wrong to be honest with you. I mean, they get a lot more engagement than I do, I'm sure. Is that they tend to just kind of post products, you know, like the the prevailing thesis I have on this is that the products sell the business, not the other way around. And that's not what I want. I want the business to be the overall template that sells the products. Um, you know, the business should be greater than the products that it sells, I think. Uh, although that's a, you know, that's which way that can be applied to a lot of different things. But um, brand loyalty is a big thing to me, and I think that if I was to try to build uh, better platforms, do things that maybe other reselling pages aren't doing, then it would help me to stand out. We'll see, though. We'll see. But doing that, making the best type of reel is going to require a lot of just supplementary analysis. So this is one that we're gonna do. So let's write that down. The hell? I'm not too sure what is the best. Let's see. What is the best model for Gemini Advanced Deep Research? Let's see. 1.5 Pro with Deep Research. Should be this one here. Get in-depth answers. All right, let's see. So I think I kind of know what I'm gonna narrow this particular reel down. I think I want to focus on making the reels, like I said. Um, and what we're gonna do is let's see. Deep racial. Let's see. I'm drawing on the document here to see what it looks like. I think that'll narrow it down to sort of the philosophy and the court hearings of that. Just discussing the individual ones might be uh, informative, I think. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Right. Let's see. So, what can we prompt it as? This one was based off 13 years ago. Yeah, Brown versus. Okay, so let's see. We can talk about. I want to make a video about the benefits of reselling old products based off of the occupation that I currently employ. I am a reseller. One second, let me get this real quick. Thank you for calling VGS. This is Matt. How can we help? All right. Gotta make sure this is charging because it's about to die. Okay, cool. All right. There we go. All right. So I think we'll keep it to that. That central thesis, I think. Let's see. So we can say something like, mm, All right, let's see. I want to make a video about the benefits of reselling old products based off of the occupation that I currently employ. It's a little off grammar, whatever. I am a reseller. I'd like to dive in a specific case study of video game censorship, highlighting the court hearings of Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association and how this hearing impacted the overall game market, thus leading to a decline in the matter of free speech. We can highlight how this case resulted in modern gaming trends that we see today and how it impacted aspects of re-releases, then tie it into why buying the original software is superior as the player engages in a game unaltered by the forward limitations of the resulting hearing. That should be a decent prompt. Let's see what it does. All right. So what it's going to do is find info about the case, find articles about the discussion of its impact, find examples of censorship that occurred afterwards. That's perfect, actually. Find info about modern gaming trends that may have attributed to the Brown. Okay, that's solid. Examples of re-releases. Yeah, solid. Okay, so we're gonna have it start researching some stuff. Let's see how it goes. How it does all that. Wow, it went through 32 websites. Okay. Holy crap, that's a lot of resources, man. Okay. We're gonna. I kind of want to look at some of these. Let's see. Indie games I pushed.
Indie games come in all
Wow.
shapes and sizes, often evoking a wide range of emotions: joy, sadness, anger, grief, you name it. Sometimes they also push the boundaries of what can be shown. Sure, why not step out of your comfort zone? Free shows, and the podcast episodes, and more. Your community is waiting for you. That's brutal violence. It's like it never shuts away from Surrounded by corpses, the game's perfect story solution. Coming to terms with the fact that it was the only solution. Controversial
All right. Man, this guy's all right. He's all right. He's all right. Okay, let's see. It better not be fucking from all his videos, man. I hate videos with that type of like the unforgiving world of reselling. Like, shut the fuck up. All right, let's see. Selling your old video games, online designer teacher. These are just kind of aspects of the reselling hustle. Much respect. Okay, so it researched 32 different websites. Let's see. Let's see what it reported here. We can open in docs. Let's see here. What I like about Gemini is that it has a huge ecosystem of just kind of the Google ecosystem. So you can do things in Docs, Excel, things like that. Open in Docs. Come on, let's go. Let's see. Oh wow. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. I wonder if it can. I'll read it aloud if anything. How long is this? 6 pages. Holy crap. Oh, it gives works cited too. All right. Good job, Gemini. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna read this aloud for the Rumble audience. Hello. All right. Brown versus EMA, how a landmark case on censorship impacts gamers today. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As a reseller of video games and electronics, I've seen firsthand the value of preserving older products, especially when it comes to video games. Today we're diving deep into a landmark Supreme Court case that has a profound impact on the gaming industry and the preservation of original video game content. Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association. Transition to screen, gameplay of older title, potentially Manhunt 2 for another round. This case, decided in 2011, centered around a California law that sought to restrict the sale of violent video games to minors. Now, you might be thinking, why is this all relevant to me? Well, implications of this ruling are far-reaching and continue to shape the gaming landscape we see today. From censorship and re-releases to the very way we buy and experience games, Brown versus EMA has left its mark. So buckle up as we explore the arguments, the ruling, and the lasting consequences of this pivotal case. By the end, you'll have a deeper understanding of why owning original video game software is more important than ever before. The battle for free speech in video games. In 2005, California spearheaded the then state Senate In 2005, spearheaded by the then state senator Leland Yee, attempted to pass a law that would ban the sale of violent video games to minors. This wasn't Yee's first attempt at regulating the sale of violent video games to minors. In fact, he had previously tried to create a similar law, highlighting his persistent concern that the potential impact of violent video games on children. This law aimed to protect children from the potential harmful effects of violent content, mirroring restrictions already in place for pornographic works. The Entertainment Software Association, ESA, and the Video Software Dealers Association, VSDA, now known as Entertainment Merchants Association, EMA, immediately challenged this law, arguing that it violated the First Amendment rights of both video game creators and consumers. The state of California argued that violent video games could be harmful to minors, potentially leading to increased aggression and violent behaviors. They believed that the government had a compelling interest in protecting children from such content. The ESA and VSDA contended that video games like books, plays, and movies are a form of expression protected by the First Amendment. They argued that the laws was overly broad, under-inclusive, and failed to demonstrate a clear link between video game violence and real-world harm. The ESA had a history of successfully challenging similar state laws in Michigan and Illinois that attempted to restrict the sale of violent video games to minors. These victories demonstrated the ESA's commitment to protecting the First Amendment rights of the video game industry. It's important to note that the court recognized the inherent difficulty and potential danger in attempting to distinguish protected speech from unprotected speech based solely on its content. This concern underscored the significance of the court's decision in upholding First Amendment principles and protecting creative expression in video games. Before the case reached the Supreme Court, the federal district court had already concluded that the California law violated the First Amendment. This initial ruling set the stage for the legal battle that would eventually reach the highest court in the land. The Supreme Court's decision. In a 7-2 decision, the Supreme Court sided with the ESA and VSDA, striking down the California law. Justice Antonin Scalia, writing for the majority, stated that the video games communicate ideas and messages through various literary devices and therefore protected speech. I agree with that, actually. He emphasized that the government cannot restrict expression simply because of its content, especially when there is no clear evidence of harm. The court also highlighted the existing voluntary rating system implemented by the ESRB, arguing that it provided sufficient information for parents to make informed decisions about their children's access to video games. In fact, the court acknowledged that the ESRB rating system had been remarkably effective in controlling video game distribution, particularly when compared to similar systems in countries. This effectiveness further undermined the argument that the California law was necessary to protect children. This ruling was a significant victory for video game industry and for free speech advocates. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals had previously affirmed the district court's decision, further solidifying the legal foundation for the Supreme Court's final ruling. However, it's important to acknowledge the dissenting opinions of this case. Justice Thomas and Breyer disagreed with the majority, arguing that the state had a legitimate interest in protecting children and that the California law was a permissible way to do so. Justice Thomas in particular believed that the founding fathers did not intend for the First Amendment to protect children's access to potentially... Wow, I didn't know that. Let's see here, actually. I kind of want to pick and choose some of this stuff. Well, let's continue real quick. The aftermath, censorship and re-releases. While Brown versus EMA was a landmark victory, it didn't completely eliminate the issue of censorship in video games. Although the government couldn't outright ban violent games, the ruling didn't prevent developers and publishers from self-censoring their games to appease different regional markets or avoid controversy. This self-censorship often results in altered re-releases of older games. Changes can range from minor edits to significant alterations that affect the overall experience. One notable example is the hot coffee incident in Grand Theft Auto. Well, that was kind of before, right? A hidden minigame, blah, blah, blah. We already know that. For example, Japanese Fallout 3 removed its scene involving a nuclear explosion. Modern gaming trends. The Brown versus EMA ruling, while upholding free speech in principle, arguably contributed to a decline in free speech within the gaming industry. Wow. The fear of potential legal challenges or public backlash has led to a more cautious approach among developers and publishers. This caution is reflected in several modern gaming trends. Content warnings. Okay, yeah, we already know about that. Age ratings, in-game purchases, and microtransactions. The rise of in-game purchases and microtransactions has created a new avenue for censorship. Developers may alter or remove content to encourage players to spend more money, effectively censoring aspects of the game behind a paywall. It's important to remember that the court in Brown versus EMA recognized the need to proceed with caution when applying constitutional principles to new and evolving technology. This cautious approach is crucial because technology, including video games, is constantly changing, and the legal framework surrounding free speech must adapt accordingly. Interesting. That's kind of something that's going on with AI right now. Why original software matters. Authentic experience. Yeah, collectors value, reselling. Interesting. Oh, it did give some legitimate context there. What we can do is filter this through like a script. All right, let's see. Oh wow, that was really quick. Right. I'm a reseller of video games and electronics, and I've seen firsthand how important it is to preserve Preservation of original video game content is why I'm here. As a reseller, we could say something like that. Let me get a pen real quick. All right. Let's see. How could we go about this then? So, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm a reseller of video games and electronics. I've seen firsthand how important it is to preserve original video game content. Back in 2005, California tried to pass a law banning the sale of violent video games to minors. The state argued, okay, so this is a pretty direct way of just conveying all the info. What we can do is sort of condense this down in a way that might be entertaining, because how could we grab the attention of the viewer right away? So let's just read it verbatim. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm a reseller of video games and electronics, and I've seen firsthand how important it is to preserve original video game content. Today we're diving into a landmark Supreme Court case, Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association. Back in 2005, California tried to pass a law banning the sale of violent video games to minors. The state argued that violent games could harm kids. The video game industry pushed back, saying games deserve the same as the First Amendment. Let's see. Fast forward 2011, 7-2 decision. One hand, protecting children, developers, and games. That's okay. That's a compelling way of kind of getting that across. On one side, you had lawmakers insisting on protecting children. On the other, developers and gamers argued that video games are a form of expression, and restricting them violated free speech. Fast forward to 2011, the Supreme Court struck down the California law with a 7-2 decision. Okay, let's see. This is solid. However, I feel as though the script is now devoid of deep content. Let's revise this to include a greater or broader understanding of what went down and the try to make the script a tad more engaging for viewer retention. I'll probably add some B-roll AI stuff to it. Let's see. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm a reseller of video games and electronics, and lately I've been digging into Supreme Court cases that have changed the gaming world forever. One example, Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association. It's been over a decade since this case landed, and its impact on free speech, censorship, and the way we buy games is still felt today. Back in 2005, California tried to pass a law banning the sale of violent video games to minors. It was led by then-Senator Leland Yee, who felt strongly that violent games could harm children. But the Entertainment Software Association and video software dealers weren't having it. They argued that games like books and movies deserve First Amendment protection. Host voiceover continues with footage of older... Okay, cool. Now, it wasn't the first time lawmakers tried restricting game sales. Similar laws popped up in other states too, but this particular law made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, blah, blah, blah. In 2011, the Supreme Court struck down California's Law 72. Court also poured down 2. Not everyone argued. The ruling was a huge win for free speech, but it also led to more self-censorship by developers and publishers. So that's a crucial point I'm going to keep. You can't highlight on this. Well, I'll remember. Nobody wants a legal battle or media firestorm. Gamers often get notified or toned down before the release of certain regions, or often get modified or toned down before the release in certain regions, which they do. Fire Emblem being a prime example of that. Yeah, you see, okay, Grand Theft Auto Hot Coffee, Mortal Kombat, Super Nintendo, Fallout 3. Let's see. So where do I come in as a reseller? Original software is like a time capsule. It preserves the exact creative vision. No updates, no censorship patches, no region-specific tweaks. You get the full game as it was intended to be played. It's a living history, an artifact from an era's mindset and tech. Rare titles often skyrocket in value to reflect this, and the original condition often matters as well. A while back, I found a mint copy of Earthbound for SNES. Okay, bigger picture. The court's decision set a major precedent for video games. The court's decision set a major precedent. Video games are art, and art is protected. But ironically, it also led publishers to be more cautious. Whether it's fear of lawsuits, bad press, or trying to fit markets, modern games often come with disclaimers, content warnings, and safer design choices, which is true. I think uh, Saints Row, the reboot, was a prime example of that. Let me kind of show you real quick too. Check this out. So I thought this was really interesting. So Street Fighter 2 for the original SNES had an aspect of it that was censored in the re-release version, specifically the one-up arcade cabinet. So if we go to E Honda stage on the original SNES version, you could see that there's a flag of the rising sun in the background right here, right? You can see that's let me see if I could zoom in here. Probably not. Well, there's a rising sun background here, and in re-releases, we'll go to E Honda One Up Arcade. They removed it. Look at One Up Arcade, and the reason they did that was because it was culturally insensitive, is what they said. Here's the example. This image comes from the One Up release cabinet right there. I don't know if you can see the little pointer right here. The Rising Sun's no longer there. The original, it's there. One Up arcade cabinet, it's no longer there. SNES version, it's no longer there. So for that reason, I think that this particular case had sort of a impact on decisions like that. It's interesting to note that censorship, doublespeak as we know it, or as it's mentioned, 1984, translates to things like video games. Very interesting. All right, so that's Brown versus EMA in a nutshell, a landmark Supreme Court case that confirmed video games are protected speech. Paved the way for the industry to flourish, but also nudge publishers. Okay. Let me run this through Gemini real quick and see what we can do. Because ultimately, these scripts aren't read verbatim. I usually add some element of character to them. I try to, at least. And I also have to be considerate of the B-roll that I use, because there's a lot of B-roll that needs to be taken from these court hearings and the actual games themselves, the different versions of games. It all has to be relevant to the point that I'm making. So we're going to put this in to a new document here. All right, cool. So we have all of this. This is 4 pages of a script. All right, so what can we do? How can we do this? I would have to condense it down a little bit. Let me print this out. Check this out. So this is the video on Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association.
Are blown away, chopped into little pieces, removed by tanks, decapitated, or broken by zombies. Realistic, immersive environment. Fearing the impact of this
Interesting, huh? This is the result of it, real quick. Someone made a video on it with AI, and this gives a little more of a detailed analysis of what went down. Well, that was the video. It was just kind of giving some context on what the video I'm going to be talking about is. Like basically, it's correlated to this court hearing. But yeah, I'm gonna be logging off now because I need to revise this script. And yeah, that was Joseph. If you're watching, I could see that you're on. This is like the whole thing that I got this from, man. It was like 11 pages worth of due diligence that I did. And I condensed it down to about 4 pages worth of content to record for a reel. So it'll be about that little court hearing. Although I'll try to make it more engaging than something like that. So I'll be working on that for the next few hours. But yeah. All right, guys. It looks like Rumble and X are the bigger platforms, but I'll take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.